Welcome to this Learning Assistant online tutorial session. Today I'm going to show you the basic functions of how you navigate around Learning Assistant. Learning Assistant is an online learning portfolio that will help you build your SVQ course online. In order to get started, you need to have an internet connection. Once you've opened up your internet connection, I would like you to go up and click into your address bar. From there, I want you to type in https://system.learningassistant.com/check-call and then press enter. From there, I want you to type in your username into the username box. Your username is normally your first name dot your surname, unless you've had a Learning Assistant portfolio before in which you might have number 1 or number 2 at the end of it. You will receive a Welcome to Learning Assistant email, which you will then click on the link inside to activate your portfolio. They will ask you to create a password. Good idea to use a password that you can remember without writing down for security purposes. Now we want you to type that password into the password box and click Login. Now that we've logged into Learning Assistant, what you see is your home screen. In your home screen, you have a few different areas. Down the left-hand side, you have your home page, My Program, Evaluation, News and Events, Appointments, Forum, and CPD. Within the home area, we have Awaiting Review, Latest Contact Diary Entries, and Overdue Units. So this area just tells you what's going on within your portfolio. When you send in units to be marked, they will appear under Awaiting Review. When your assessor has sent things back to you, your assessor will create an entry in your contact diary to go along with the evidence you have submitted. At the bottom, if you have units and work that is overdue, it will be flagged up there. To the right-hand side, you have some information. When the library is open at the college, student information booklet, information about drop-in sessions that are available at Ellsbury Community Centre. And if you have problems uploading videos and files, there's a little help area there. So that is your main overview of what's going on. We're now going to move on and I'm going to show you your My Program area. You click on My Program on the left hand side. In My Program, you will have a course that has been set up for you. This will be the course that you are going to be studying. It may be Business and Administration Level 2 or Level 3, or you may be studying Management or another type of course. So that course will have been set up for you by your assessor. We're now going to click on your course that you're going to study. So we're going to look at this second link here for the most up-to-date version of SVQ Business and Administration Level 2. Now this tutorial is a general tutorial, so if your course is slightly different, the units and the links are all the same and the functionality is the same. So don't worry if I'm showing you a slightly different course to the one you're studying. So we'll click on the course and that takes us to your screen where you can see all your individual units. Now here you can see the number of the unit, the name of the unit, and the status of the unit. So the status of these units at the moment are not started. They are not started because we do not have any evidence in them at the moment. So we'll show you how to do that in a minute. I'm now going to show you how we upload evidence into your introduction unit. So your introduction unit is at the bottom of your screen. So you can scroll down until you find it. And here it is, it's called Intro. And to get into the unit, if you click on the red text, so if you click on Intro point 1, we'll click on there. And then what you will see here is we have a small grid. And in the grid, we have 4 areas. And these are the documents that I would like you to upload. So we've got 1, which is CV, 2, job description, 3, candidate statement, and 4, health and safety policy. Now your assessor will have explained a little bit about these documents and what's required as part of your introduction session for your course. So you should already have these files to hand. So I'm going to show you how we upload these documents because I've created them already. So we'll scroll back up, and what you'll see up here is we have some tabs at the top of your screen. We're going to click on the Evidence tab. Now that we're inside the Evidence tab, we're going to click on the Evidence Wizard button. Now, when we upload a file into Learning Assistant, it's a bit like attaching a file to email, but with a few extra steps. So I'm going to show you that steps now. So first of all, we click Upload Evidence, and then we click Browse. I'm going to upload the CV first, so we'll select CV from the list. Now it's very tempting at this stage to click Save. We don't want you to do that. I want you to follow the tabs. Now if we follow the tabs each time, you will successfully upload and cross-reference your evidence into your portfolio. If at this stage you just click Save, the evidence just sits in storage. So it's really, really important that you remember to follow the tabs. So we're going to click on tab 2, which is called Details. Now, it's always a good idea to give your file a name that's going to be relevant in the future, because once you have lots of pieces of evidence in your portfolio, you don't want them to be called document 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because you might not know what they are. But CV is a very good name for a CV, so we'll leave it at that. Don't really need a description for this document, but when uploading policies into your portfolio, you need to put in a description to say what the policy is, why it is relevant to you, and who you would contact if you were unsure of any part of the policy. Again, this will have been discussed as part of your induction session. But for this document, we're just going to leave it as CV. We're going to click on Type. Now, there's loads of boxes here that give lots of different types of evidence. The ones that are most relevant to you as a student are Don't Know, if you don't know what type of evidence it is. Product, if it's one piece of product evidence. Procedure, if it's a policy or a procedure. Storyboard, if you've created a storyboard. Or witness testimony, if you're uploading a witness testimony. For this piece of evidence, it would be product, so we'll click that. We're now going to cross-reference, and this is where the fun begins. So here is your portfolio with all the units that you have chosen to study. We're going to claim against the intro unit here, so we're going to select it. And then we're going to go into intro, point 1, and select that. And what you have here is your grid that we've seen earlier. I'm going to tick CV, and I'm now going to click Save. At this stage, might take a little minute to save, there we go. And then you get a couple of options here. You can continue editing if you feel you then want to claim against other units, or you can submit for review if you have finished uploading everything. that you need to upload, but at this stage I have a few more documents I want to upload, so I'm just going to click close. Now, if you want to go back in, you feel like you've not done something right when uploading, you have the option to click on the three dots to the side here and you get an edit button, which takes you back into the screen we've just seen. But I'm happy with what we've done here. You can see that we've got the document here. It has a unique reference number, so this is document 2, as there's another document already in here. It tells you here that the document has been claimed against intro point 1, so it's been successfully cross-referenced. You have product type here, who uploaded it, and what time. There's also a little info button here. If you click on it, if you had put a description in, there would be a description here. Because it's a CV, it doesn't really need a description. You can also see that there's another piece of evidence sitting in here, and it's called an assessment plan. Your assessor will provide you with assessment plans for your chosen units. This assessment plan is not in use as it is a support document, and it's not been claimed against the portfolio, and it is therefore not applicable. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to upload some more documents. So it's just so you get a feel for how this works. We're going to go back to the evidence wizard. We're going to upload a new piece of evidence and we'll browse. And this time I'm going to choose candidate statement. So that is successfully attached. I'm going to go to details. Candidate statement is fine for the title. Type, we're going to choose product evidence again. We're going to cross-reference. And we're going to go back into the intro unit, intro point 1, and we're going to choose candidate statement. And we're going to save it. I'm happy with that. We're just going to close it now. I'm going to repeat this process again for my job description. I'm going to browse, select job description, details. Name is fine, type, choose product, cross-reference, back into the intro unit, intro point 1, job description, and save. And close. Great, so you can now see on the grid here in your evidence folder, we have your CV, your candidate statement and your job description. They're all in use in intro point 1. I'm now going to upload my health and safety policy. So I'm going to click on the evidence wizard again. And from there, I'm going to upload evidence and browse. I'm going to select my health and safety policy. And then I'm going to follow the tabs again. So we'll go to details. Now this time it's a little bit different because we're going to put in a description for this policy. So I'm going to open up Word and I'm going to copy and paste the description I created earlier. I'm just going to open up the description and I'm going to highlight the text. I'm going to copy the text. I'm going to go back to Learning Assistant and I'm going to paste the text in here. So this is my description of what my health and safety policy is at my work and why it is relevant to me within the workplace and who I would contact if I wasn't sure about something that was in that policy. So I'm happy with that. We're going to go to type, and this time we're going to choose procedure. We don't have one for policy, but policy, procedure, it's kind of the same thing. So I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to cross-reference. I'm going to go back into the intro unit, intro point 1, and I'm going to tick health and safety policy. But before I save this time, I'm actually going to go and have a look in the other units in the portfolio, and I'm going to see if this document links into anything else that I'm trying to claim. So I'm going to go into 201.1, which is agree how to manage and improve own performance in a business environment. And in here, we have P8, which is follow agreed guidelines, procedures, and where appropriate codes of practice. So my health and safety policy links really well into that. I'm going to scroll down, and within the knowledge area, there's another point I think actually goes really well, which is K8. Guidelines, procedures, and codes of practices that is relevant to own area of work. So I'm going to claim that. So that's great. So that's a couple of ticks there. I'm now going to go into 202.1, which is undertake work in a business environment. And in here, we're going to have a little look and see if there's anything that is relevant. No, nothing in there. So we'll just leave that one. There's definitely one in 220, so we're going to go in there. And in 220, we have a point which is follow manufacturer's organisational operating instructions and health and safety requirements for different equipment. So I think that covers well for health and safety, because as part of health and safety, we need to operate equipment correctly. We'll go for P2 there. And we will also choose K4, which is how to use different types of office equipment safely. I'm going to tick that box there as well. Great. I am now going to click Save. And I'm going to close. So you can now see that the health and safety policy is in more than one unit. It is in unit intro.1, unit 220.1, and 201.1. So it's actually in 3 units, so that's great. And if we click on the info box, then you can see my policy description there. Perfect. Now, I'm going to show you what these documents now look like in your grid. So we're going to go to your course folder, and we're going to scroll down to intro. Now you can see it's actually gone blue, and it says it's started, and that is because we have put some evidence in there, and you can see that it says here that there is 4 documents in there. So that's the documents we have just uploaded. So let's go into the unit. And you can now see the grid, and in the grid is the evidence that we have just uploaded. So that is great. And note that the ticks are black. The ticks are black because we are logged in here as a candidate. When your assessor has marked your evidence, the ticks will go green, and you know that it's been approved. So in order to have your work marked and approved, you need to send it in to your assessor. Now, this is something that a lot of students forget, but it's really, really important. Uploading evidence into your portfolio is fine, but if you want your assessor to look at it and mark it, it must be sent in. So what we have here is a button that is called Submit Your Competence Claim. So we're going to do that, and that basically sends it to your assessors. We'll click on there. Now what you get is this little box that pops up that says, are you sure? Now the reason that it says that is because once you submit your work, it locks the unit, so you then can't do anything with that unit or your files. So be sure to check that you've put everything into your unit that you want, and you've ticked all the relevant boxes prior to submitting that claim. So I think I've done everything I want to do, so I'm going to go OK. And you can now see that the status of your unit has changed from started. It now says submitted and awaiting review. So that has successfully been sent. I now want to upload a storyboard into my evidence folder and I want to cross-reference it into the relevant unit. So I'm going to go back to my evidence folder again, and I'm going to click on Evidence Wizard, upload evidence, and browse. Now this time I'm going to upload a storyboard because I've been working away on a storyboard explaining how I use office equipment. So I've uploaded it there and I'm going to follow the tabs. 220 storyboard is a good name, we'll leave that. Type, this time I'm going to choose storyboard from the list of evidence types, and then I am going to cross-reference. So I'm going to find the relevant unit, which is S220, use office equipment. So I'm going to click on there, and then I'm going to click on 220.1, use office equipment. And then what we have here is a grid of all the performance criteria and knowledge and understanding points for the unit. Now, I have been very busy building my storyboard, and I think that I have written something for each of these points, and I've put in some product evidence to back up my evidence. So I'm going to tick all of these boxes. I am then going to look at my other units and see whether I can claim any boxes against anything else. So I'm going to go into 220.1, which is agree how to manage and improve own performance in a business environment. And I'm thinking about what point I could cover as part of when I use office equipment, when I'm doing that safely, I'm following procedures, and I'm working to a high standard. So let's have a little look at the list and see what we can find. So here we have meet deadlines and renegotiate timescales and plans in good time. Well, when I've been using office equipment, I am meeting my timescales, so we shall tick that. P8, follow agreed guidelines, procedures and, where appropriate, codes of practice. I'm following my health and safety procedure and my manufacturer's instructions, so we'll cover that. I think I'm working to high standard and show commitment to achieve these standards, so we shall tick that. Let's see what else we can find. In the unit, I spoke a little bit about problems and how I get help from IT with that, so the types of problems that may occur during work and how to seek help if needed. So I think I've covered that. I'm going to cover K8, guidelines, procedures and codes of practice that are relevant to own work area. Good. Okay, that's good. Let's have a little look in 202. Now, I put a little bit in about how I proofread and check my work to minimise wasting paper, so I'm going to include that. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Causes of waste, yes, I've covered that. How to use technology efficiently, got that. So that's good. I've got my office equipment, and I think that's it for that one. So let's click save. So you can see what I have done there. I've not only cross-referenced into the unit I've been working on, but I'm looking at other areas within my portfolio where I can tick boxes, because the more boxes you can tick from a piece of evidence, the better. But you have to be realistic and really think about whether you're covering it or not. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to click close. So my 220 storyboard is in 220, 201 and 202. Now from there I am going to go to my course and I'm going to have a little look in unit 220.1 just to see that my storyboard's definitely there, it's on the grid, and I'm happy with it. So that looks good. And I've also got my health and safety policy in here, which links to using office equipment safely. So I've done that, and I think I've covered everything. I think I've done a good job of it. So I now need to send it to my assessor to be marked. So I'm going to submit your competence claim. So I'm going to click on there and I'm happy. Everything is correct and as it should be. So I'm going to click OK. So that has now been submitted and is awaiting review from my assessor. So that is great. All done. So we'll go back to course folder now. And we'll just have a look at the status of some of the units. So now that we've done a little bit more work in the portfolio, we've uploaded some more files into the portfolio and we have claimed some more boxes. You can now see that there's lots of blue bars for the different units because we've now started things. And you can see the things that have been sent in to my assessor have been submitted and are awaiting review. So I've got a couple of units that my assessor will hopefully look at within the next kind of 5 working days. I'm now going to show you how we address assessor feedback. So I'm now in the home area of your portfolio. And in the home area, we have a section called Contact Diary Entries. And you can see that we've got a couple of outcome entries here. So we've got outcome 220 has been returned by my assessor, and we've also got intro unit has been accepted. So that's really good. So one of my units is now complete. The other one still needs a little bit of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to my program. And we're going to click on there. And you can see that in my course area, we've now got a green box here. Now the green box indicates that that unit is now complete. We still have some work to do on unit 220, so it's still blue. We're going to go into the portfolio, so we're going to click on there. And what you have is all your units. So we're going to scroll down. I'm going to have a little look at unit 220. It says it has been reviewed and returned, so my assessor has looked at it. So let's see what feedback she's provided me with. So let's click on 220.1 to move inside the unit. Now we scroll down, you can see that my grid has changed. I have lots of green ticks in here rather than black ones, so I can very quickly visually see that these points are now complete. But we also have a couple of question marks here. So we have a question mark for locate and select equipment and resources needed for the task. And we've got a question mark for how to choose equipment and resources that are appropriate for the task. So we need to do some work on that. I'll scroll down and read what my assessor says. So she's just put a brief comment here which says, please refer to feedback, which is inside my storyboard. So I'm going to click on my storyboard and it will download. It might take a minute or two to do that. And if we click on it here, I can open it up. Now that I've managed to successfully download my Unit 220 storyboard with my assessor's feedback, what I'm going to do is just have a quick look over it. So let's just scroll through the document and see what the feedback is. Page 1 looks fine. Here on page 2, we have a comment in red, which is add in your document reference number here for your health and safety policy and confirm why it is important to follow the policy when operating office equipment. Okay, you need to check back in my portfolio to see what my health and safety doc ref number is. When updating your storyboard, you may be asked by your assessor to link evidence together. Now, it's important when linking evidence together that we understand what the evidence reference numbers are within your portfolio. In order to do this, you need to go into your evidence folder. So here I am at my home screen as if I have just logged back into my portfolio. To navigate to the evidence area, we must go to my program. So let's click on that. And then go into your portfolio. So click on that. And from there, navigate to the Evidence tab. So let's click on there. Now, within my evidence area, I have a number of documents that have been uploaded, but the one of interest for me at the moment is the health and safety policy, because I need to cross-reference that into my Unit 220 storyboard to demonstrate my understanding of why that piece of evidence is relevant to me when I use office equipment safely. And my assessor has asked me to add in my reference number. The reference number is here and it's doc ref 5. Each individual piece of evidence has a unique reference number. I'm now going to make the changes that I need to make within my 220 storyboard. So I'm going to click in the relevant area in my storyboard and I'm going to type in a description for my policy. I've now successfully updated my storyboard as per my assessor's comments. So what I want to do now is save this version of my storyboard over the top of my original one, because this is the most up-to-date version and this one has the most up-to-date reference guide, which is claiming against the points in my grid. It has been marked by my assessor, so I know it's accurate and up-to-date. We don't want lots of different versions, so I'm going to save over the top of my original. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to find my document, which is 220 Storyboard, and I'm going to save. I'm now getting a box that says it already exists, do I want to replace it? Yes, I do, because I just want the one document, not lots of different versions of it. So let's click Replace. Great. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go back to Learning Assistant and I'm going to upload my new version. Now, as a candidate, I cannot replace the piece of evidence that's already there, but I can upload a new version of it. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go to the Evidence Wizard. And I'm going to upload evidence and browse. From there, I'm going to locate my 220 storyboard and choose that. Successfully uploaded. Details, 220 storyboard is fine. Type, storyboard. Cross-reference. And I'm going to go into Unit 220, 220.1. And I think I've now covered everything. So I'm going to select all and select all. And I'm going to save that there. I think I've done everything. So from there, I can just submit a review by clicking on Submit Review button. So that's now been sent to my assessor to be marked. So let's close that. And I'll just go back to my homepage. Another Learning Assistant function I'm going to show you today is one called gap analysis. Gap analysis is used to look at what points we still need to cover within your portfolio. So as your units start to build up and as you produce more and more evidence, hopefully that evidence will tick lots of performance criteria and knowledge and understanding points within your portfolio. So as you're kind of halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, gap analysis becomes a lot more important. But it's really good to be aware of it right from the start so that when you produce evidence, you're thinking about how that evidence can go into other units and make life a little bit easier for you. So we're going to go into your portfolio again. So we're in my program at the moment and we're going to click on your portfolio, which will show a list of your units. But rather than go into a unit, we will go up to the right hand side and we will click on gap analysis. Now, because this portfolio has only been started, every single point for every single unit is actually here at the moment. But as you start to build up your portfolio and as your assessor starts to sign things off, some of these points will disappear. So this is every single performance criteria and knowledge and understanding point that you are going to be covering. So when you're writing up a storyboard, it's a good idea to think, where things can link to. So for example, when using office equipment, which is the unit we've been talking about, we are locating and selecting equipment and we are using it safely. When we are using it safely, we are following a health and safety policy and manufacturer's instructions, which actually links very well into Unit 201, which is up here and will help to cover points such as follow agreed guidelines, procedures and where appropriate codes of practice, and how to deal with problems. So just because you're working on one unit doesn't mean you can't look at trying to cover points within other units. So very, very handy to go into gap analysis and have a little read through and see where we can be linking points together. And as I said, as you start to come towards the end of your qualification, these points will be much, much less, and therefore you can focus your evidence directly on that final few points. Well, that is the end of your Learning Assistant tutorial session. I hope you found the session useful and informative and you're now ready to embark on your SVQ course. I wish you all the very best with that, and remember that if you have any problems with your course or any problems with Learning Assistant, to please get in contact with your assessor so that they can help you with that. And remember that you can watch this tutorial over and over again, as there may be little things within Learning Assistant that you forget and you find that the information in this tutorial useful. Thanks for watching. Bye.